With the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video games coming out later this year, there's been a lot of hype on new Pokemon, and rightfully so. Everyone loves a new Mon. People are excited to see what new animal or object Mon there's going to be. But I also feel we need to give a little bit of love to some of the existing Pokemon in the way of these Pokemon returning with new evolutions. So I decided to make a top 10 list because why not? These are the Pokemon that I think most need an evolution in the next game. Number 10. So in each generation we get a bird Pokemon, early route bird Pokemon. And so I'll be excited to see who the new bird Pokemon is for this region. But in my opinion, there's one bird Pokemon that stands definitely below the rest. And this Pokemon is Swellow. So I like Swellow fine, I think the design looks really good, but it kind of almost looks like a middle form. Swellow's typing also doesn't help here, being normal flying, whereas with last generation Corviknight stands out, even Noctowl or Talonflame. So one idea for an evolved form for Swellow would be to change the typing. The other would be just to bulk him up a little bit, make him look like a third evolved form here. This picture here by Fatmon, PH Fatmon, shows a fairy flying Swellow, and I think he's done a great job of what could be a great Swellow evolution. And also distinguishes him from the other bird Pokemon with a new typing. Number 9. So in Gen 2, there was a lot of Pokemon that had just a single form. One of these Pokemon, Stantler, got a new evolution in Weirdeer in Legends Arceus. But another Gen 2 Pokemon that needs one is Kecleon. Again, this is another Pokemon with a good design. I like the colors. I like it's based off a chameleon. But again, he falls in this weird spot where he doesn't quite look like a Babymon, and he doesn't quite look like a final form. So I think he could really use a new form in Scarlet and Violet. So for this first Kecleon form I want to show, I found one that's a little more fierce, a little more abstract with what it's based off of, but I think looks really good. This one here is done by Greg Andondre, and it keeps the same color scheme, but it kind of moves a chameleon to more of almost like a rhinoceros or a dinosaur, and looks more fierce, and I think it looks really, really good. This next Kecleon design is done by Fatman PH Fatman, which shows, again, a similar coloring to the last one, but takes this dinosaur raptor vibe to it. And again, it's a little sharper than the original Kecleon design, but works really well. And I'll show one final design for Kecleon's evolved form that could be really cool. This one is done by Nightlight 9. Again, this kind of goes in another almost dinosaur direction, but this one drops him down to all fours. It's a little doofier looking, but I think looks amazing. The red is more involved here and just looks really, really good. Number 8. So in this spot, we're going to kind of mix some of the last two we had, and we're going to come up with a Mon that is also a bird, but also kind of falls in that same thing with Kecleon where it's not a baby, but not an evolved form, just kind of needs to power up in some way. And so for this spot, we're going to go with Chatot. So this is a Pokemon that is very colorful, uses music in its inspiration, but because there are so many bird Pokemon, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. So in this first picture, done by Fake Mans on Twitter, he uses a harpsichord to further push that musical design, and it's also a little more feminine, but I love this direction it's going. And these last couple, I can't find a source for who did these, but they look like they may be public domain. If you are the artist for these, please let me know. I can fix this and give you credit for your artwork. This one here looks very menacing, thickens him up, gives him almost Corviknight vibes. I really dig this one. And then this last one here lengthens him out, changes the direction of his musical note on his head, and almost fuses him with an eagle. But any of these would be amazing evolutions for Chatot. Number 7. So we're going back to Gen 2. We're going back to a single evolution. And we're going to a Pokemon that when you compare him to some of the newer designs, just looks incomplete. This Pokemon is Girafarig. Girafarig is based off a giraffe that has a second head on its tail. Although don't get too close because this tail can bite you. In this first evolution I'm going to show off, done by Sugarluck, His design doesn't change, but just grows with how I would expect him to grow. The pink on the back goes up even higher. The tail gets spiky balls on it. It gets a little longer, a little thicker. Looks great. This next piece of art, done by Jess Sachan, shows off a couple of designs, but I'm really focusing on this psychic normal one here that looks more horse-like, but has that horn off the head, almost like a unicorn. I like this design a lot. I do feel like, though, that it kind of loses one of the main designs of Girafarig, which is the head on the tail. But other than that, I think it looks really good. Number 6. Okay, I know there's a lot of Gen 2 mons on this list, but hear me out. This next one falls into a category that just has too basic of a design. Don't get me wrong, I like this Pokemon, but it's basically just a flower. And this Pokemon is Sunflora. This Pokemon looks a little derpy, is very simple, but still being effective. With that said, a lot of these Gen 2 mons just, again, look incomplete and need to be buffed. And in these two examples, first one here done by Juan Ruiz, second one by Joey B, lean into the feminine humanoid aspect of some of these more recent Pokemon, with the second one keeping the derpy quality that Sunflora has, but either of these would be great options for a Sunflora evolution. Number 5. Alright, so this Pokemon, we're jumping all the way up to Gen 8 with another early stage Pokemon, and this time a 2-stage line. So this Pokemon doesn't look incomplete. It actually looks really playful. I love the design. However, that being said, I could see a really cool third form for this Pokemon. And this Pokemon is Boltund. This Pokemon uses its legs to generate electricity and to travel at fast speeds. I think a design that utilizes his legs even more, whether it slims him up or bulks him up, would be great for this Pokemon. Again, I found one example here that I had a hard time finding who did it, but it really shows off these fast legs and sleek design for Boltund. And any Boltund evolution to go in this route would be awesome to see. Number 4. From the latest gen to the earliest gen, Gen 1. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are thinking, not another Gen 1 mon, they're overused. And while I personally love Gen 1, I understand where people are coming from with this. However, this mon definitely needs something. It looks exactly like its animal, and even worse, it's named its animal. And this is Seal and Dugong line. Look, I like Dugong, but there's not a lot of creativity in this design, and I think if Dugong were to evolve, it would really help. The first thing you could do is take this horn and make it mystical, make it longer. You could maybe look at doing like a fairy typing, and then you could also take that tail and give it a monster look, or like a Loch Ness monster look, just lengthen that out really long, and take something so simple and spice it up a little bit. So I've got one here done by Dusty Peculiar, and another one here done by Gabrielon. I would love to see these two designs, like I said, mixed together, lengthen that tail, as well as giving that horn more length and making it more beast-like. Number 3. This Pokemon has already been confirmed for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's a single stage line that looks really good, but competitively just can't compete. And for this third spot in my list, I've got Seviper. I love the black, purple, and gold mixture of this Snakemon. This, coupled with its sharp features, gives it a very intimidating design. So for Seviper, I think you could take the tail or the fangs and make him even more intimidating, or do something like put some wings on him. And here I found a design done by TrixPix, and in this design, it really accentuates that tail, makes it look very intimidating, and almost like a knight or a king. And in this other design I found, again, accentuates the tail, looks a little darker, a little grimier, but I like both of these of all forms, and I think these would look amazing for Seviper. Number 2. We're getting toward the end of the video, and that calls for one Pokemon that everyone wants to see. It's Eevee. So, I know Eevee has a bunch of forms right now, but this is the time for another one. It definitely helps that Eevee's a fan favorite, and that all of its forms so far have been great. But it's been a while since we've seen a new one. And part of the fun with Eevee is trying to decide what typing it's going to become. A popular one everyone has been talking about has been Dragon, which would be very cool. I've also seen a flying one here I'm going to put on the screen, done by Eleanor Bick, that I think just really fits how Eevee evolves, but this looks great in a flying form. And here's a really well done of a poison type Eevee. This one done by Seoxy S6. And I love how this one doesn't use the typical kind of purple color for poison, but instead uses this really cool green color. Another cool typing I think could be a bug type. This one done by PokeLuca. Really goes all in with the bug theme. And another one here by Splatter Parrot, which also showcases a really cool bug Eevee form. And again, the cool thing about Eevee is it doesn't have to be any of these. It could be one of these cool dragons here, as well as many more types of evolutions. Number 1. You may be asking how I made an evolutions list and Eevee wasn't number 1. Well, it's because this Pokemon has needed an evolution for the longest time. Another Gen 2 Pokemon. With the design now, you could take the evolved form in a lot of different ways. But I think a bug dragon, and one mythical one at that, would be amazing for Dunsparce. Dunsparce in itself looks pretty cool. It's pretty derpy, but can't you just imagine this wings taking off, sprouting, getting even more snake-like looking dragon? Just, I think would be completely the way to go for an evolution like this. And here are some examples I found. Here, done by Branch Boy, Dunsparce evolves to a more snake-like creature with hints of dragon. Or these next two here that also give off a snake dragon type vibe. Another typing that could be really cool could be a fairy and dragon, or fairy and normal, dragon normal. But again, I think something like bug dragon could be really cool for Dunsparce evolution. Alright you guys, that's my top 10 list for evolutions in Scarlet and Violet that I'd love to see. But let me know what I got wrong. What Pokemon do you want to see evolve in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Let me know in the comments below, and please like the video and subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Bye guys.